Potter Williams.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. As a member of the Health Select Committee, perhaps I can give some clarity to the thinking that went behind some of the decisions that we made as a committee in bringing the bill back to the House. But firstly, I want to reference a couple of people that I worked with for whom this would be a very pertinent piece of legislation. Firstly, there was Richard. Richard actually was able to successfully get a kidney transplanted, and then there was my very dear friend Catherine Mary Jacobs, who was on dialysis for a long period of time and unfortunately died before she was able to have her kidney transplant conducted. And why I reference these two people I worked with, is that they both came to needing kidney transplants because they were diabetic, and they had long-term diabetes, conditions that actually resulted in the fact that they had renal failure. Richard was lucky enough to find someone to donate a kidney to him, and it went on for many years after that point to have a very fulsome life, very rich and active life. My friend Kathy, on the other hand, although she had a donor, was unable to then translate that into a transplant because of the financial implications upon that person who could have donated a kidney to her but was financially unable to do so. So that is why we are here debating this bill, because it would provide an opportunity for people like my friend Kathy to reach out to her family and friends to find people who are compatible to donate that kidney, and for those people not to suffer any financial hardship because of it. And why that is important is because when we look at people with diabetes, they are often people who are Māori, Pacific, increasing numbers of Indian, people, particularly Māori Pacific, who may actually be impacted financially should they choose to donate a kidney to their family member. So this bill is really important to that cohort of people. I want to not only thank the Select Committee for the work that they did on this, but actually thank the officials, because yes, this bill, when you read through it, there is not a single section of this bill that hasn't been rewritten in some form. And the officials have been instrumental in guiding us, providing us with information and advice, and then actually crafting this into something that has come back to the House in a decent form. So I want to thank the officials wholeheartedly, not only for that advice, but for the drafting that they have had to do subsequent to that as well. And okay, if the Attorney General wants some thanks as well, great. The reason we are talking about the difference between compensation and financial assistance, which is why we've changed the title of the bill, goes back to my original argument. It is actually about ensuring that we can provide for the numbers of people who are seeking transplants in this country, who may have somebody lined up to help them, but for whom that will be an impediment unless they are able to be compensated for the wages or the income that they forego. It's not about going overseas to have transplants, and it's about being in the New Zealand health system where you can have the appropriate safeguards and review of any of those procedures. And let's face it, there have been, for people who have kidney donations, particularly because that's the bulk of our transplants currently carried out in this country, your life improves exponentially because you've had that opportunity. And we really want to encourage people to donate. And that's the whole purpose of the bill. So indicating on your driver's licence that you are an organ donor does not actually provide for that donation to occur, because sometimes our whānau at the time of our passing make some decisions that may not have been what we would have decided if we had been able to. So it's really important, if you're going to want to gift your organs, that you talk about this with your whānau before anything untoward happens, that your whānau, your family, are really clear about your wishes and how important it is to do that for people like Richard and my friend Kathy. Mr. Chairman, there are 3 parts to Mr. Chair.
I call
Mr.
Chris
Chair.
Bishop.
Thank you very much.